Lord Loss. Hopefully there's no little Lord Loss on my shoulder tonight. But Lord Loss, for those of you who might not have read it, was the first book of my Demonata series. A 10-book series all about demons. The main character in Lord Loss was a teenage boy called Grubbs Grady. His real name was Grubitch, but virtually everyone refers to him as Grubbs. When the book begins, Grubbs lives at home with his parents and his sister, whose name is Gret. As far as Grubbs knows, he's an ordinary boy from a normal, everyday sort of family. But what he doesn't realise is his parents have kept a deep, dark secret from him all his life. There's something about the Grady family which is different to all others. And it's not something good. Early on in the book, Grubbs begins to get the feeling that something is wrong at home. He can't quite put his finger on it, but his parents and Gret are acting very strangely, as if they're afraid of something. And Grubbs gets this sense that they're in trouble, which they're not telling him about. But because they won't discuss it with him, he's got no idea what that might be. One day, Grubbs' dad comes to him and says the family are going to see a ballet performance in a few nights' time. And because Grubbs hates ballet, they're going to send him to stay with an aunt. So Grubbs is fine with that, delighted not to go and suffer for all the dancing. But later, he overhears his dad talking to Gret and realises his dad has lied to him. They're not going anywhere that night. And Grubbs figures, whatever sort of trouble they're in, this must be the night when they stay home and face it. So he says nothing, goes to stay with his aunt, plays along with the charade, but as soon as he can, he sneaks out of the house and races back home, because they're his family, and he wants to be there with them to try to help them if he can in their hour of need. So we're going to read out the scene when Grubbs gets home, and it's an especially cheerful, light-hearted scene. Actually, this scene is one of the bloodiest, goriest scenes I've ever written. Lord Loss is, I think overall it's a positive book. It's a book about dealing with grief. It's about, no matter how bad things get in life, even if you lose the people closest to you, each one of us can find the strength and courage within ourselves to push on, to start to build a new life, to bounce back from whatever life throws at us. So that's sort of the overriding message that comes through throughout the book. It's about a boy whose world descends into chaos, and about how he starts putting that back together. But the scene I'm going to read out comes from very early on, and it's when everything goes horribly, horrifically, tragically wrong for Grubbs Grady. From the backyard, I spot a chink of light in Mum and Dad's bedroom, where the curtains just fell to meet. I creep up to the back door, crouch, poke the dog flap open, and listen for sounds. There aren't any. I fish under a stone to the left of the door and locate the spare key. I enter. The kitchen is unnaturally cold. I creep to the hall door and stop, again listen for sounds, but it's silence. Leaving the kitchen, I check the TV room, the front room, and Dad's study. They're all empty, and all as cold as the kitchen. Coming out of the study, I notice something strange. There's a chessboard in one corner. It's carved out of marble, 4 inches thick. I played a game with Dad on its smooth surface just a few days ago. But now that surface is scarred with deep, ugly gouges. They look like fingernail scratches. But no human could drag their nails through solid marble. I climb the stairs. I'm sweating nervously, fingers clenched tight. Part of me wants to turn and run. I shouldn't be here. I don't need to be here. Nobody would know if I backed up and ran away. But then I think of Gret. I'm not going to leave her alone with Mum and Dad to face whatever trouble we're in. We're a family. Dad has always said families should pull together and fight as a team. I want to be part of this. Even though I don't know what this is. Even though this terrifies me senseless. The landing. Not as cold as downstairs. I try my bedroom, then Gret's. They're both empty and both very, very warm. I edge closer to Mum and Dad's room. Gret likes to call me a coward when she wants to hurt me. I used to think she might be right, but each step I take towards my parents' bedroom proves to my surprise that she was wrong. The door feels red hot when I reach it, as though a fire is burning behind it. I press near to the wood, but there's no crackle of flames, just deep, heavy breathing, and a curious dripping sound. My hands on the doorknob, my fingers won't move. I keep my ear pressed to the wood, waiting, praying. A tear trickles from my left eye and dries on my cheek from the heat. Inside the room, somebody giggles, low, throaty, and sadistic. There's a ripping sound, followed by snaps and crunches. My hand turns. The door opens. Hell is revealed. Blood everywhere. Nightmarish splashes and gory puddles, wild streaks across the floor and walls. Except the walls are no longer walls. I'm surrounded on all four sides by cobwebs. Millions of thick, sticky strands, many stained with blood. My eyes snap from the webby surroundings and I locate the source of the curious dripping sound. It's coming from a body hanging upside down from the ceiling. The head has been chopped off and blood drips to the floor from the gaping red O of the neck. But even without the head, I recognise him instantly and scream his name out loud. Dad! That's always my favourite moment. To my left, an obscene creature spins around and snarls. It has the body of a very large dog, but the head of a crocodile. Beneath it, motionless, numb, or what's left of her. There's a dreadful howl to my right. It's Greg, sitting on the floor, staring at me, weaving sideways, her face pale, except where it's smeared with blood. I start to call to her, but then she half turns, and I realise she's been split in two. Something is behind her from the candy of her back, moving her like a hand puppet. The something pushes Greg away. It's a child, but no child of this world. It was the body of a 3-year-old, but a head much larger than any normal human's. Pale green skin, no eyes, instead small balls of fire flicker in its empty sockets. No hair, yet its head is alive with movement. As the held child advances, I see that the object of its head are cockroaches, living and feeding on its rotting green flesh. The crocodile dog moves away from Mum and closes into me. I can't move. Fear has seized me completely. I look from Mum to Dad to Gret. All red, all dead. Impossible. This isn't happening. A bad dream. It must be. But even in my very worst nightmare, I never imagined anything like this. I know that it's real, simply because it's too awful not to be. The monsters are almost upon me. The crocodile growls hungrily. The hell child grins and raises its hands. There are mouths in both its palms, full of small, sharp teeth. Then, as I'm staring with horror at the hellish creatures, out of the shadows, somebody speaks. Oh dear, what have we here? A man slides out from behind a clump of webby strands. He has pale, blood-stained, lumpy skin. His hands are mangled, bones sticking out of the flesh, one finger melting into another. He has strange red eyes. There's a jagged hole in the left side of his chest where his heart should be. I can look clean through it. Inside the hole, instead of a heart, are dozens of tiny, writhing, hissing snakes. The hellchild shrieks and reaches towards me. The teeth in its small mouths are eagerly snapping open and shut. But before it can bite, the heartless monster points at it and says, "Stop, artery." Then the monster steps towards me. Except no, he doesn't step. He glides. His feet don't touch the floor. He's somehow hovering in the air. The croc dog barks savagely, its eyes alive with hunger and hate. But again, the heartless monster intervenes. "Hold, Vane." He comes closer, closer, and stops and studies me with his unnatural red eyes. "You are Grubech, the last of the Grady's. You should not be here. Your parents wish to spare you this heartache. Why did you come?" I can't answer. I'm frozen with fear. The monster stares around the room at the carnage and sighs and says, "Such sadness. Parents
sister dead, all alone, face to face with demons, no idea who we are or why we're here. You don't know, do you, Grubitsch? Nobody ever told you the story of lonely Lord Loss. I still can't answer, but he reads the ignorance in my eyes and smiles sinisterly. I thought not. They try to protect you from the cruelties of the world. Good, loving parents. You'll miss them, Grubitsch, but not for long. Soon I will set vein and artery upon you. Your torment will be unendurable. Death will come as a blessing. You will welcome it in the end. The monster, no, the demon, drifts around me. He sniffs as he passes, smelling my fear. I finally find my voice and gasp. What are you? He smiles. The beginning and end of your greatest sorrows. Mum! Dad! Gret! They can't help you now. They're gone from this life forever. Mourn for them, Grubitsch. Recall the happy memories of the past. Cherish them in these your final moments. Cry for them, Grubitsch. Give me your tears. He smiles eagerly and reaches for my face. He brushes his mashed together fingers across my left cheek, just beneath my eye, as if trying to charm tears from me. The touch of his moist, rough, sticky skin repels me, and without thinking, I turn my back on the hell of my parents' bedroom and run for my life. Behind me, the monster chuckles, then says, Vein, artery, he is yours. With vile, vicious yaps of delight, the creatures give chase. And you'll have to read the book.